Have you ever thought about leading a study group, but then that little voice in your head pipes up saying, wait, I'm not an expert? Well, today, we're going to put that fear to rest for good. We're going to look at leadership not as this heavy burden, but as this really cool opportunity to guide people on a shared journey of discovery. So, first things first, what even is a study group? Well, it's actually an acronym, and it kind of sets the whole tone for us. It stands for Seeking to Understand, Discern, and Yield. Right away, you can see this isn't about one person having all the answers. Nope, it's about creating a space where we can all learn together with a lot of humility. All right, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the heart of a leader. What's your real role? Then we'll get you set up with a leadership toolkit. After that, I'll walk you through a simple blueprint for running your sessions. And finally, we'll talk about why this whole idea of accountability is so powerful. Sound good? Let's dive in. Okay, let's start with the big one, the heart of a leader. We're going to go right after that number one fear that holds so many people back, you know the one I'm talking about, that pressure to be the expert in the room. I want you to just read this and let it sink in. Take a deep breath. You are not required to be a Bible teacher or an expert. Seriously, your value as a leader doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from your willingness to just be there and help guide the journey. That's a huge relief, right? This is such a critical mindset shift. So let's get clear on this. You are not a teacher giving a lecture from the front of the room. You are not an expert with all the answers. Instead, think of yourself as a facilitator, a guide. You're the person who creates a safe space where people feel comfortable enough to have a real, honest conversation. It's a huge shift from performance to presence. So if you're not lecturing, what are you doing? Well, here are your core responsibilities. Your job is to create that safe space we talked about. You're there to guide people through the material, ask good questions, and encourage everyone to grow. And most importantly, you keep the focus on how these ideas apply to our actual, real lives. Okay, now that we've got the heart stuff right, let's get practical and talk about your leadership toolkit. We know the why, so now let's fill your bag with the how, the essential tools and habits you're going to need. These are the fundamentals, the things you'll do every single week. You got to start with prayer, just to get centered. Then, of course, review the lesson ahead of time, but listen, not to memorize it. Just get the main ideas. During the meeting, your best friend will be good reflection questions. And at the end, your job is to help everyone find one practical thing they can actually do. Now, beyond the weekly practices, there are some bigger principles to live by. First, accountability has to be done with grace. It's about support, not judgment. Second, you have to respect people's privacy. Trust is everything. And finally, you need your own support system. A coach, a pastor, a mentor, somebody. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? All right, let's get even more practical. I want to give you a session blueprint. This is a super simple, proven structure that just takes all the guesswork out of running a great meeting, every single time. Here's the 6-step flow. It's so simple. You start with a warm welcome and a quick prayer. Then, and this is P, you do a check-in on last week's action steps. After that, you introduce the topic. Then you get to the main event, the group discussion. This is where the magic happens. Then you help everyone choose a new action step, and you close in prayer. Easy, right? It just works. And if you're a visual person, check this out. This chart says it all. Look at that. Half of your time, a full 50%, is for group discussion. The next biggest piece is accountability. See? This proves it. You are not the main event. The group's conversation and their growth, that's the main event. Your job is just to guide it. Okay, for our last section, let's zoom out. We've talked about the how, but now let's hit the why. Why is this whole idea of walking together, of accountability, so incredibly important? Because friends, this is where real change, real transformation happens. Think of it like this. Accountability is what turns our good intentions into actual action. It builds this amazing community where we can be honest about our struggles and celebrate our wins. You know, it's easy to say, I want to be more patient. But when you know someone's going to gently ask you next week, hey, how'd that go? Well, that's what makes it real. It's encouragement, not enforcement. And this quote just captures the heart of it all. You know, the specific words might be from one tradition, but the idea is for everyone. We walk together. A study group isn't a classroom with a teacher. It's a fellowship. It's a journey that we take together, supporting each other along the way. So if you only remember one thing from our time together today, please let it be this. Your role is to guide the discussion, not to dominate it. If you can truly embrace that, you are already well on your way to being an amazing leader.
So, I'll leave you with this final question. I don't want this to just be information for you. I want it to be an invitation. So think about it. What is one step you will take just this week to foster accountability with grace in your own life? Let that be your starting point.